Hello, everybody. This is David Ruff, and I'm coming to you today to talk about housing because everything is all about housing. It is the largest expense that you're going to spend in your lifetime, and everything that is happening in the economy is going to come for the price of your home. So, whether there are going to be gas shortages, whether there's going to be an immigrant crisis, whether it's going to be about natural disasters, it always comes back to the biggest industries. The biggest industry hit the hardest. In housing, Canada, United States, Europe, most of the world, housing is going to be the biggest expense of your life, whether you're renting or purchasing. We're going to be talking about a couple of those articles today to see what dangers are in the market. We're going to be talking about how it's going to affect you and me in our homes. All right. If you want to join me on YouTube, you guys, all of the articles that I reference will be there on YouTube, and you can follow along with us. I go live every single day, so hope that to see you there on that platform. All right, the first article I want you to look at is theguardian.com. It mentions a Ponzi scheme by any other name, the bursting of China's property bubble. This is very, very, very concerning as it's such a large economy in the world. It starts off by mentioning that cash flow was under tremendous pressure, and it might not be able to pay back its $300 billion in loans. This is China's Evergrande Development Group. This is a big issue. Now, nearly a third of all property loans now in China are classified as bad debt. 29% of all property loans are considered bad debt. Guys, this percentage is above the percentage of what happened in the United States. 29% of all loans in China is considered bad debt. Massively toxic. Okay, so if we continue with this same article, you guys, it mentions it's way, way up. As we can see, the graphs that the prices are dropping and percentages are dropping. Now, the government is kicking in. This is the Chinese government is planning to kick in 26 billion pounds and maybe much, much more to make sure that they don't collapse. Here is the problem with it and why it looks like a Ponzi scheme. It says it resembles a Ponzi scheme where money is taken from new investors to pay off existing clients in an ever-decreasing spiral of collapse. This is a big problem. Developers raise huge amounts of money from customers to basically fund the purchase of the next construction project. But here is the problem. The property market accounts for 20 to 30% of China's gross domestic product. Wow. 20 to 30%. China's housing market makes up their GDP. Unbelievable. So look at the danger. If their property market goes down, the entire market goes down. And this is how carefully we have to look at something like this. Now, remember this. In North America, in Canada and the US, when we sign for a new property, we pay them some money up front and we wait for it to be built. And once it's built, we start paying our mortgage. Here is the difference, is when we now in China sign on the dotted line for a new unit, you start paying for it immediately. And you may have to pay for it for 5 years, 6 years before it's even built. You are paying all that money for 5 or 6 years to the developer to finish off the projects from before. So the only money coming in to finish your project is the people that are coming after you. That is why they call it a Ponzi scheme. That's why you have to be very, very careful. And since it's such a large market in the US, 20 to 30% of their GDP, we have to be very, very careful. Okay, also on that side of the world, we're talking about India. As we talk about India, the rupee is collapsing, a record third straight session. Why is the rupee collapsing? Now, this is saying it's reflecting a wider currency crisis. I only highlighted one word here, as the dollar charged ahead. This is the sole reason why all currencies are dropping is because of the strength of the US dollar. People are fearing a massive collapse around the world and rushing to the US dollar. Imagine a world now where losing 12% of your money per year in inflation is a good deal. It's because you'll lose a lot more in a lot of these other places. This is the dollar milkshake theory by Brent Johnson. I suggest you look it up if you've never heard it before, but very, very, very significant for our times. Now, there's a lot of problems when the US dollar is so high. We can see that usually the British pound was very strong, much higher and now it's trading at like 21-year lows. Big problems coming on from that country as well. So we've covered already a couple countries so far tonight. India is in trouble. China is in trouble. Now, most people would say, why is the Indian money going down? Well, I invite you to look up this chart. If you want to come to it, Trading Economics, we always reference it. If we look at the money supply over the last 10 years, it is straight up vertical for India. And you're like, oh my God, they've printed so much money. No wonder they're in trouble. Hang on a second. I want you to go and now type in Canada's M2 money supply. Oh my God, it looks even worse than India's. We're printing money like it's going out of style. Okay, let's go to the US. If you go look at the M2 money supply in the US, oh my goodness, it looks even worse. It's like a hockey stick, like a launcher into space. We're all printing money. So it's not just a unique India problem, a unique Chinese experience. This continues on into greater and greater depths. Okay, so here is the next article I have in businessstandard.com. You can go look it up. India's campaign for rupee trade finds fans from Russia and the UAE. That's United Emirates. So if we look at this, what are they trying to do? So India is in a lot of trouble, you guys. So they cannot afford to buy the stuff they need over from the United States, and where their currencies are very high. The rupee is dropping in value. They're also printing a lot of money, a lot of political problems. But this is where the Brics Nations come in. Brics is BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now Argentina has joined them. And now Saudi Arabia is talking about joining them. If Saudi Arabia joins the BRIC countries and they create another reserve, big world shakeup. I mean, the world will separate into two. Saudi Arabia is the linchpin. Saudi Arabia is the reason why the world order is set the way it is, because all oil is transacted in US dollars in exchange for their security. So once the security is removed by the United States, which side will they choose? The side that Saudi Arabia chooses could dictate the future of the planet and the global world order. All right, so let's go on. I got India is trying to find their best friends. Which one is going to help them be better off in the long term? Now, once we go to this article, fortune.com, top economist Mohammed El Arian, I can't say his name right, I'm sorry. Relentless appreciation of the dollar. So the dollar going up in value is terrible news for the world economy. Absolutely. This is the big problem. And he said the new UK's government, Liz Truss, is putting a spending plan to boost growth. Now, she is a conservative, so she wants tax hikes and to give money to companies to try to boost their output. It says now the once dominant pound sterling is now down more than 21%. Yeah, I need you to hear that. The pound sterling is down 21%, which is shocking, okay? 21% compared to the dollar. The Japanese yen is down 20%. The euro and the Thai baht is down 15%. That is decimation of their currencies. And how hard is it now to pay 20% more, 21% more for the same product than they bought a year ago? They are getting currency inflation at the same time as we are. They're getting double hit. And all the governments are now pouring money into US dollars because that will lose less than in their local economy. Now, the last article I wanted to show you, I want you to go to CNBC, and it's called The Real Cure for Inflation. Now, this is a United Kingdom-based article, but it doesn't really matter what country we are. And it says the real cure is to stabilize currency. And I need you to understand that what that means. Stabilize your currency, number one. And number two, investment incentives to boost growth. That's it. All right, you guys. So there is the real cure. Stabilize your currency. What does that mean? Don't print billions of dollars out of thin air. Now, I know the Canadian government said that we didn't print any. So when I say that they print, that is an expression. They don't go print billions of paper dollars. Okay. When you go buy a home, you don't come with a wheelbarrow full of money and drop it off there. It's your bank will just send an email over. So I know that the Canadian bank says The Canadian Bank of Canada says we didn't print anything, but we all know that they did, right? They're just playing with words right now. But guys, that money printing makes your money go less and less far. Inflation will continue to bite you. We need a stable currency, okay? And the currencies were stable before they opened the Federal Reserve in 1913. Stable currencies is what you want, number one. Number two, print more stuff. If we don't have enough of something, I don't care if you don't have enough water jugs. The answer isn't to make a water glass $5,000. The answer is to make more water jugs. And so this is the two sides of the economic spectrum. Number one, we have Keynesian economics and we have Austrian economics, the two sides. So think of this as liberal, conservative, or think of it as Republican and Democrat, okay? So on one side, the Keynesian economics says spend every last dollar that you have. Do not save a penny. Print as much money as you can from a government. Just keep the printing presses on as much as you can. And this has started in 2008, especially like monetary heroin, where they have printed and printed and printed. And the idea is that the economy will grow from the demand side. So if you give enough money to everybody in their hands and they stand outside Elon Musk's home and scream, we want robots, with all the money in their hands, maybe someone will go build robots. Listen, demand side never works, right? And the other side is Austrian economics, where they say it's supply side. So if there is a massive shortage for homes in Canada, for example, missing 1 million homes, 5 million homes missing in the US, then there is a demand there, yes, but the only way that we're going to get prices down is if we figure out a way to build more homes. If people are starving to death on the street and they're all saying we need food has to be planted and the ground tilled and a whole year of growing, we have to be ahead of the game, right? So every time that we talk about this is like, to me, like common sense. Save for a rainy day. Only spend within your means. Here is the whole root of Austrian economics. Spend your money as a government just like you would from your household. There's no household on the planet that would make $100,000 and spend $200,000 every year and somehow be able to save for their future. It doesn't really happen that way. So no government could do that either. So we have to spend within our means and not spend like drunken sailors. This is always going to be the problem. We need more stuff. So the answer to more stuff isn't to tax people more. We need more stuff, right? So we try to come from the camp of common sense, but listen, every single government, doesn't matter, right, left, red, blue, whatever color, doesn't matter. They always keep layering on more and more and more debt every single year. So it's not that one government comes, spends too much, and the other one fixes it, and then the next one spends too much to come fix it. It doesn't matter. The line of debt just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, straight up, 45-degree angle. So they're all guilty. We need to spend within our means. We need governments to spend as if they were managing a household. Now, and all the money that we use has to be used for some kind of productive purpose. Now, that's easier said than done, right? I don't know how they're going to do it, but we haven't seen any country do it. So that's why we have to be wise with our investments so that we can make more money through our investments and outrun inflation. And we're going to do that by buying some types of commodities, some types of properties, and structuring our life a lot better. That's why I say financial education is your best return on investment. Read a lot of books, pay people for their information. I pay every single year to go and sit with tax strategists because we want to save more money, right? Why wouldn't we? We want to talk to efficiency experts to help us make more money. Whatever you can do to help you navigate this, because what happens over the next couple of years, like I always say, will dictate the next couple of decades of your life. As you know, I'm always here for your health, wealth, and happiness. You guys, hope that you like this type of stuff. I work in Toronto as a real estate broker. I'm not a financial advisor, but we buy and sell homes every single day. We had a fantastic weekend. 2 properties that we put on the market. Here's the thing. We aggressively advertise them, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place, right? We got 25 showings in the first day, 3 offers, no conditions. It's not even heard of these days to sell a home with no conditions. Unbelievable. So that's why marketing changes. It's not stick a sign in your yard and walk away. It doesn't work like that anymore. But we had a great weekend. Congrats to our sellers. We operate all around the Greater Toronto area. If you ever need anything, reach out to me. But you guys, I want you to win. I want you to crush it and continue to crush it. So if you know one person that this could help, please send it to that one person. It will really help us to grow the channel. Please remember to like this. And if you like the stuff that I'm telling you, I'd like to know what parts you like. Most of the comments we get are all kinds of haters all over. But I would love to hear, if you don't like it, tell me. If you do like it, I want to know what you want me to make content about. Let me know. All right, you guys, I hope that you have a fantastic, fantastic night. I'll stick around and answer some questions, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Jeremy, hey, how are you on YouTube? Good to see you, buddy. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try to answer the ones on TikTok before I get going. Hey, Otis, buddy, how are you? Good to see you again. Waiter, how are you? Montreal Services, yeah, the Chinese is a massive Ponzi scheme. They have a lot of problems. Mike R725, how does oil trading in U.S. funds affect commodities? U.S. oil trading affects everything. So here's the funny thing about oil, right? Oil is life. Oil is everything. So no matter what you buy, it had to be brought on a truck from somewhere or a boat from somewhere or both. And it's using oil to do that. And your home is built with asphalt, shingles, petroleum. Your windows have petroleum in it. Your pipes have petroleum in it. Petroleum is in everything. Petroleum equals life. Petroleum equals the economy. So the U.S. were protecting Saudi Arabia in order to get all that oil out of the Middle East. But in exchange, Saudi Arabia would only sell the oil in US dollars. So that makes the US dollar the king currency. All oil had to be sold in US dollars. So whatever country bought oil, they had to somehow get their hands on US dollars to use it to buy oil. Keeps the demand up for the US dollar. So now that this is breaking apart, the whole world system, the whole financial fabric of everything is going to get shaken up over the next couple of years. Otis, I'm sorry if your video is freezing. I apologize. I don't really know how to fix that right now. Hey, Jeremy, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Mo, how are you? Good to see you. All right. I think that I answered all of your questions for today, you guys. There is a lot happening. There is a lot happening, man. So my biggest thing is, you guys, if we are looking at which way it's going to go, okay, the BRICS countries is probably the biggest shakeup the world has ever seen since 1945. So BRICS is BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now those countries have the base stuff, like they have the gold, the metal, and whatever else, the base products. They ship it out to more affluent countries that turn it into higher end products. So those countries are saying, well, if you don't get our base stuff, you're not going to have anything. Well, you know, they end up getting hurt too because they don't get any of the finished products back. So there is no war, whether it's a commodity war, a financial war, a war where they're shooting guns at each other, any type of war, everybody loses. And so this whole shakeup of the two sides is where everybody is going to lose. It's not going to get any better. Now Argentina has joined them, and Saudi Arabia is talking about joining them as well. So a pulling apart of the world into two distinct sections. This is going to change a lot for a lot of people. Remember, it could be a shale for oil in the United States. Shale is like a year to bring online, but to drill in the ocean could take 10 years. To open a mine could take 10, 15 years. So if we have to do it all here in Canada with much more expensive labor and a massive shortage for 10 years to open a mine, we should expect to have high inflation for a while. I don't really see a situation where we're going to have deflation, even though it's hotly debated right now. I don't see that. Now, if we look at examples like in France and in the United Kingdom, where inflation is going crazy, the governments are already stepping in saying they will nationalize the power grids, which means they got to subsidize it, more money printing, more inflation. France giving out money, the UK giving out money for power of some kind, you know, just to heat their homes. That's going to be more money printing, more inflation is going to come. If we look at this, they're already handing out money in Canada and the United States to low income people and for inflation reduction. No, not inflation reduction, inflation help All of this, ironically, adds to the inflation as they keep on printing more money for it. So this separation is going to be the biggest difference that we're going to see. You know, some of the largest concerns that we've had this year were food insecurities. Now, fortunately, Canada's having a great year. Let's finish off October to see where we end up, because the world's like number 2 wheat exporter it invaded the world's number 1 wheat exporter or something like that. The world is going to be suffering a lot. So if we miraculously can make enough food to get through this season, and fingers crossed that we do, we're going to have a massive problem in spring because there's no fertilizer to go around right now to continue on. So let's hope that this war wraps up really quick. The other problem is that Ukraine makes a ton of the world's neon gas. What do you need neon gas for, David? We need neon gas to make computer chips. Okay, you try living without computer chips. That means for your phones and everything else that you use, no more computer chips. No neon gas could mean that we're going to get blasted back to the Stone Age. So we need some more to come on, though. How long would it take for us to get a second supply? I don't know. Let's see how that goes. But there are some real dangers that are coming up. The world order, the way it has been stable since 1945 till now, because the US had almost all the world trade, all the gold, all the military. So when you have one big Papa Smurf, you know, everyone else falls in line on the planet. But now that the United States has been shrinking over time, and Russia and China and that have been growing, now you have like 2 big guys just slugging it out in a heavyweight, boxing championship. So when there was only one big gorilla, everybody kind of fell in line. Now that there's a challenger, it's going to be interesting. Now, the challenger, no country is strong enough to beat the US one-on-one in a war, but in a trade war, it's a different story. And especially when those BRICS countries band together, man, it's going to be interesting. But this is the problem. Any type of war, like I said, there's always loss. Everybody loses on either side. It doesn't matter how this shakes out. Humans, the consumers, me and you, are the ones that are going to be suffering and paying much higher prices as our salaries don't change at all. So a lot of dangers coming in the future. As our salaries don't change and the cost of everything goes up, the banks are willing to lend you less and less money on your home. Home prices drop drastically. And this is a type of situation where we could be another great financial crisis where there are millions of people losing their homes. So it's interesting but scary what is going to be happening over the next 12 months for sure, to see if this actually materializes. So be careful, set yourself up for success, and learn about this stuff, how to profit from this type of situation. Otis, I'm glad that your thing is working well. Montreal Services, which country will be the new world order? Your point of view. There's probably not going to be one new power, just like the United States was the power. It looks like right now, there's going to be 2 big world powers: Europe, North America, and like NAFTA and Mexico. So NAFTA and Europe working together, Australia, Japan. And the other side of the coin is the BRICS countries with Argentina and maybe Saudi Arabia now. Let's see. TJ and Akeem. Hey, buddy. How are you? Good to see you. Tony, yeah. Stocks are collapsing. Yeah. I've been, stocks have been collapsing for a long time. I don't know, man. Some people's portfolios are down like 80%. Tony, you said Briac. What does that mean? Are you trying to say bricks? All right, you guys. Well, if you have any other questions, you know how to reach me always, right? Reach out to me here, Rough Team Realty. Rough Team Realty. Hey, guys, thanks for all the likes. I really appreciate it. That really helps out the algorithm. If you like this type of stuff on TikTok, you can follow me on YouTube every night around the same time. When I go onto YouTube, you can see all the slides and all of the videos that I'm using. You can follow along a little bit better if you'd like. Otherwise, you could just hear me say it. But I try to show you guys what I'm looking at, how I'm looking at the world, how I'm setting myself up. And I tell you guys what I'm doing all the time, right? I'm always telling you, I want to get to 10 million bucks. So I'm going to keep going, right? But through a recession is where you're going to make all of your money. Through a recession is where you're going to make all of your money. Warren Buffett says that it's going to be raining gold. You run outside with a bathtub, not just a bucket. So this is where you could read up like Benjamin Graham and understand what discounted cash flows are. All right, you guys. If you don't have any more questions, I'll stay on about another 30 seconds to see if there's something else that I can help you. Thank you for following me. Please follow me on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it if you guys like this type of stuff. Give me any one of your questions that you want to send. It sure looks like right now, home prices will continue to drop right now. Here's the thing. I think everyone's asking the wrong question. I think everybody is wrong. Everybody I talk to asks me, how high do you think interest is going to go? That's not the question. You should be asking, how long will it be there? Because if interest rates went to 20% for one day and then dropped right back down to zero, it wouldn't affect anybody. So it's about how long is the interest rate going to be there? That's the big problem. Montreal Services, you said something about a book I wrote. Yeah, I wrote one book. I have one more book that I'm going to write. It's a series of 5. But if you're interested in my book, you can send an email to contact@Rough Team Realty, and just write book in the paragraph in the subject title. We'll put you on the wait list. I'm also filming a course. It should be done by the end of the year. It's going to be about a 25 to 30 hour course. Basically, I'm cramming 20 years of knowledge into a short course, and you could take it on your own speed. But it's how you can become financially free. Our main goal is following all my rules, my rough rules that I have followed my whole life and that my dad taught me and that my millionaire and billionaire friends taught me how to become financially free. If you want to know about the course, also email contact@Rough Team Realty and just write course in the subject matter. We'll put you on the wait list. We're now going to be putting wait lists on our YouTube videos as well. Otis, you said, why did we have over 20% interest in the past and we survived, but now people are struggling with current interest rates? Listen, man, the change is what matters. So the Paul Volcker, when he made it 20%, he raised the base rate from like 12 or 13% up to 18%. Okay. So he raised it 50%. That's why people could stomach it a lot easier. And we hadn't seen all of the involvement of foreign investors like Saudi Arabia, like China buying up properties. We also didn't have companies like BlackRock coming in and buying 10,000 homes at a time. We didn't see the financialization of the housing market. In addition, the rate change was only 50% change. Look at us. We went from 0.25 to 3.5, and we're going to end up at 4.5. So we're talking about like, I don't even know what the math is right now, 1,000% change in interest rates. That's why we have never had so much debt in the history of the world. And so we're way more susceptible to any changes in the interest rates. Lee Morris, you said you got 5 years to write it out. You got a lot of options. Yep. I was saying in, what was it? October, November, December, January, February, I was telling everyone, lock your rate, lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it. I was screaming it from the hills, yet everybody still went variable. I mean, the hundreds of people I talked to, everyone was going variable. They're like, nah, I'm not going to lock it. Okay. I locked all of mine. And this is what I mean is I come on here, you guys, I'm telling you what I'm doing to make money. So I'm always making money. So you know what, but this isn't an accident. I learned it from 20, 25 years by reading a book a week and talking to millionaires and billionaires and trying to give them all my rules. So that's what I'm going to be putting together. Well, one of my books. Otis, yeah, you said you like math. Yeah, I love math. Math is a beautiful thing because it's not very political. I don't care about left or right. Here's the thing. Like if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose, I would never go with leftist policies and Keynesian economics because it just doesn't make sense mathematically that you want to just spend every dollar that you have ever made and print as much as you can and never have any thought to the future. That is crazy to me. My dad was a farmer. What farmer do you know doesn't save some seed to plant the next year and can some things in cans for the cold winter? I mean, to me, it just makes sense. I don't like that. But I also say all politicians are bad. All politicians, it doesn't matter what color, what state, what country, doesn't matter. They all keep on loading on debt onto all the countries. So it doesn't matter what history that you want to go on. In Russia, they had a czar. In Japan, they had an emperor. In England, they had a king. It's always some kind of elite class. And today we don't have a king, but we have capitalist people, and we have those elite 0.1% that are billionaires. I mean, like high billionaires, and they run everything. As long as we've been around in Canada and the States, we're relatively young countries, we can tell you which government will win by how much money they had beforehand to start the election, by how much money did they have to run campaigns. So I keep saying, why on earth do we have elections? Just ask which side has the most money, and then we'll just give the election to them. It has nothing to do with their policies. It just has to do with how much brainwashing they can do on everybody, right? Math is math, guys. So I'm not for any political party because I believe they're all bad. And we should all run our governments just like we would run our households. Easy. But that's to me. It's a lot easier said than done, too. I don't want to be in politics. I don't want all the games. Otis, you said your rate is 4.2. That's good. It's a lot better than what's going on right now. Lee, you said you're variable. You just bought. Lock in at this point or ride it out. I would be riding it out right now. I mean, you've rode it all the way to where it is today. It's been a shooting rocket, right? So what do they estimate? It may be 1% or 1.5% greater in the rest of the year. I think it might be 1.5. I think that's where it's going to stop. It may not even get that far because we're teetering on a collapse right now. So I still think they're going to raise it 0.75 2 more times, but I don't think they're going to be able to go much past that. If they do, they risk putting the economy, so far into the toilet, it's really bad. Remember, the question is not how high the rates go, because if it goes 20% in a day and drops down again, it doesn't affect anybody. It's how long can they hold the rates at this? And there's only so long that they can suck all the money out of the economy and not suffer catastrophic consequences. So every single time that we get into massive trouble, they go and print a lot of money. And I think they're going to print a lot more money coming up to the next crisis. Whatever we're in right now is just people complaining. These youngins don't know what it's like to live through like a GFC. When I was receiving 5 emails a day, 10 emails a day from my friends, from my family, people that I knew asking me for a job. They'll work for anything. They'll work for food. That's just since like 2009-10. About down in Australia watching, it's not Australia, in Florida, when homes were dropping 80, 90% of their value. 2, 3 families living in one unit, having trouble to pay for food. That's a struggle. So all these little guys now walking around with all their problems. Listen, man, you don't know problems, okay? I was on welfare. I had no money. I was broke. I couldn't afford food. So like some people got some real problems, and there's, we're so privileged in North America that they have to find some kind of problem to complain about. We have go to Mexico where your mortgage rate is 30% and then talk to me about problems. Otis, you said you're in a good place because if your rent rate rises, it just means you have less money for investing. Oh, good. That means that you don't have to worry about housing prices. Excellent. All right, you guys. I think that's everything for me. I hope that you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you very much for giving me the likes, you guys. I always try and ask you to give me likes. Please follow me on YouTube. If you have any questions, please send it out. If you're looking to sell your home, and you live in the greater Toronto area, reach out to me, contact at Rough Team Realty, and just set up a time. You can also click the link in my bio and book a free 20-minute, no obligation call with me if there's something that you want to do. We sold 2 houses this weekend, 25 showings in one day. Absolutely unbelievable. We got 3 offers, heavy negotiation. It was about 5 or 6 hours of negotiating back and forth. So many contracts going back and forth, but it was worth it. We got our clients $100,000 more money than they expected for their home. So you know what? I'm happy. All right, you guys, wish you the very best. I hope that you have a fantastic night. Reach out to me, contact at Rough Team Realty, and write course or book in the title if you're interested in that. We'll put you on the wait list. Have a great night, everybody. Wish you the very best. Later.